Hells Angels bikie gangs is behind shootings in Adelaide's northern suburbs.
3 Hells Angels members accused of that shooting on Sunday that injured 7 stood in front of a judge today.
Hells Angels Clubhouse seizing gym equipment which could help crack the case.
Few names in the world of outlaw motorcycle clubs have the fame and weight of Hells Angels Motorcycle Club. This international brotherhood, founded in 1948, has been met with hatred and admiration. Most Hells Angels live by the law, but some lust for violence and power, without regard for others. We delve today in the Hells Angels dark side to discover the 10 most dangerous members. Number 10. Trudeau. Trudeau was born in 1946. Trudeau's journey began in the 1960s as a Canadian career criminal whose life was woven into tapestry that included violence and redemption. Canadian Industries Limited was there, and that's where Trudeau's true calling lay. He also founded a motorcycling club, the Popeyes, which became one of Canada's largest clubs and established connections with the Canadian Mafia. In 1977, the Popeyes were offered to become an official charter of the Hells Angels. Trudeau's ruthlessness grew as the 1970s progressed. His first murder was committed when he confronted a thief in front of a gang who had stolen Popeye's motorbike. On March 24, 1984, tragedy struck with the Lennoxville Massacre. A significant portion of the charter was destroyed. Trudeau survived by chance because he was in a detoxification center when the execution occurred, gripped with the fear of the retaliation. He was then released on parole in 1994. Number 9. James Ezekiel Brandes. Jim rose to fame as a violent Hells Angel Oakland chapter enforcer involved in organized crime and drug trafficking. Brandes was an influential member of the Brotherhood and was sent to Australia for a hit on police officers. Incriminating items found in Brandes' luggage revealed his true intentions. He was denied entry and sent home. Due to internal tensions, Brandes believed Henry Crabtree, a Hells Angels member, was an informant. Brandes responded by placing a life contract on Crabtree. Crabtree worked with the police when the Aryan brothers tried to collect their bounty. Brandes was charged with murder and racketeering, but a series of mistrials cast doubt on his guilt. This case divided the public and raised questions about the reliability of the justice system. In 1994, he spiraled down in despair before taking his own life when he was confined in prison. Number 8. Khadir Padir. Born in Turkey in 1982, he chose to live a criminal life instead of taking advantage of the opportunities available in Germany. He became famous as the Hells Angels leader in Berlin during a violent motorcycle war which led to the infamous Berlin Hells Angels trial of 2010. Padir is facing charges including murder stemming from a conflict between the rival gang Bandidos. Tahir Özbek was a member of the rival gang Bandidos and had planned to work with them, which would have provoked Padir and Hells Angels. Padir made a fatal choice as tensions increased. The chilling moment that 13 bikers, including Padir, committed the violent act that led to Özbek's demise was captured on surveillance footage. Although he did not pull the trigger physically, Padir's leadership and influence were significant in orchestrating the crime. Padir, currently serving a lifetime sentence behind bars, continues influencing the Hells Angels gang via mobile telephone. Number 7. Paul Ishide. Ishide, a successful stockbroker, was indicted in 2003 on charges of drug trafficking and kidnapping. Despite being under house arrest, Ishide removed his monitoring device and disappeared, becoming one of the most wanted fugitives in the US. Ishide lived a double existence as a stockbroker and a Hells Angels Motorcycle Club member. Court records revealed his involvement in an incident with Cynthia Garcia. Garcia was stomped by Ishide along with a Hells Angel. Then they kidnapped Garcia, drove her into a desert, and brutally killed her. Ishide, who had been on the run for 17 years, was captured in Buenos Aires in 2018. The authorities captured Ishide successfully, demonstrating their dedication and cooperation. Number 6. Michelle Jinx Guinness. In the 1980s, Hells Angels had problems with their end chapter and label because of drug abuse and unpredictable behavior. Rumors about deaths owed by rival gangs leader Frank Peter Dewey Ryan set off deadly events. Jinx became involved in Hells Angels' power struggles. Jinx is a ruthless, unpredictable, and erratic figure. On that fateful day, as tensions grew, 5 members of the Love All chapter walked into a trap in the Lennoxville clubhouse. Over 40 years, Hells Angels beat and shot them. The bodies of the victims were then dumped in the St. Lawrence River. The subsequent trial revealed shocking revelations, including a bribery effort that reached the jury. Number 5. Alan Passaro. Meredith Hunter and the Hells Angels member met at the Altamont Free concert in 1969. Armed with a revolver, Hunter stood out at the celebration of peace and music in exchange for $500 worth of beer. Hells Angels were hired to keep order. Their motorcycles formed a barrier against the crowd. The Hells Angels ensured safety. The atmosphere was tense when Rolling Stones took to the stage. Mick Jagger tried to calm the crowd, but chaos broke out within 5 minutes. Hunter, fueled by intoxication and anger, returned to the stage when he was thrown out. Some witnesses described him as an enraged, while others were visibly upset. Hunter's revolver was flung in a terrifying moment and caught on camera. It is unclear whether a gunshot was fired. With a knife, Pissarro quickly approached and parried the gun, stabbing Hunter. Hunter tragically lost his life. Pissarro was charged with murder but ultimately cleared out on the grounds of self-defense. Number 4. Walter Stadnik. Walter Stadnik was born in Hamilton, Ontario on August 3, 1952. In October 1978, Stadnik became one of Canada's pivotal organized criminal figures. Stadnik was in Montreal to meet with Yves Biteau and other Angels leaders and discuss a patch over his club. Little did Stadnik know that his trip would put him in a life-or-death situation. During the La Tour Billion massacre, members of the Outlaws MC attacked the bar and targeted the Wild Ones and the Angels in attendance. Stadnik was scared from the experience and hid under the table's shelter. In the aftermath, the Hells Angels dealt with the men responsible for hiring the American Outlaws responsible for the bloodshed. Roland Roxy Dew Temple, Stadnik was threatened by rival gangs, and Scott Steinert, the president of America's Hells Angels. In 1984, Stadnik was hospitalized with severe burns and disfigurement after a traffic accident. He survived the accident and was later charged with gang terrorism. Number 3. Frank Juan Fromberg. Frank Juan, a 6'5" tall figure with a nearly groomed beard and shaved hairstyle, is Hanover's Hells Angels chapter president. He rose to prominence in Germany from a middle-class background and made his mark on the red light district of Hanover. He resolved conflicts in the Stein Tour district and mediated negotiations with Hells Angels' arch rivals. Bandidos MC was accused of ordering a killing, but no proof was provided. He moved to Majorca, Spain in 2012, but was arrested the following year. He is not the deadliest killer on the list, but he has those leadership qualities and style that is undeniably impactful towards the Hells Angels. Number 2. David MacDonald Carroll. David MacDonald Carroll, also known as the Wolf, was a Canadian outlaw biker and gangster associated with the Hells Angels. Carroll's involvement with the prostitution ring resulted in his arrest in the mid-1980s. His most famous connection was the Lennoxville Massacre, where he was charged with murder but acquitted. He proudly displayed a Hells Angel filthy few patches indicating that he was involved in a murder. He also participated in the Quebec Biker War and owned bars and nightclubs. Carroll significantly influenced the Hells Angels and partnered with the Rizzuto family. He was a member of the Italian Mafia clan in 2001. Carroll, now 71 years old, remains an elusive figure. Number 1. Bosher. Maurice's mom, Bosher, the embodiment of evil in the biker world, was born on June 21, 1953. He became a Canadian gangster, a convicted killer, reputed to be a drug trafficker, and above all, an outlaw biker. He was president of the Hells Angels Quebec Nomads chapter, leading them through violent and dark times during his criminal career. Quebec was embroidered in a fierce conflict known as the Quebec Biker War. Maurice and Bosher were allegedly involved in a cocaine smuggling ring that was bringing the drug from Jamaica to Canada. The infamy of behind bars Bushi haunted him. Several assassination efforts were made against him as revenge seekers targeted him. The authorities placed him in a separate unit in a prison to protect him. His health started to decline due to metastatic throat cancer in a covert operation. He died on July 20th, 2022. Thank you for watching!